going to go ahead and call this meeting to order, and today's invocation will be by Pastor Brent Patrick from lead pastor at Gateway Church. Welcome. And those who wish to participate, please stand.
May we pray together. Father God, we pause for this moment, and we thank you for your wonderful blessings upon us. We thank you tonight and know that everything, every good and perfect gift comes from you. We thank you tonight for your protection, for your provision, for your power that you bestow upon us as a nation, a commonwealth, a city, and as a people. And tonight we are grateful. We know that you formed and ordained the family and the church, but we also know that you sanctioned exactly what we're doing here tonight, and that's the government. You knew that we needed structure and law and order. And Lord, you provided that for us, and we thank you for the wonderful city that we get to live in, the city of Virginia Beach. We thank you for its leadership. We thank you for all of the employees, all the many volunteers that make this city go each and every day. I pray your richest blessings upon them.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
And if we all may have a moment of silence for all of those who paid the ultimate price to protect our country and our city. And now the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have a roll call?
Yes, Your Honor, all present.
Okay, can we have a motion for the certification of the closed session?
Second.
Okay.
The vote is open. By a vote of 11-0, you certify the closed session to be in accordance with a motion to recess.
Okay, great. At this point, could I have a motion to approve the informal and formal sessions, September 3rd, 2024, and the special formal session of September 10th, 2024? Second?
Second.
Yes, Barbara?
I noted in the workshop that I thought the special formal session minutes were incomplete, so I'll be voting no.
Okay.
The vote is open.
Okay, great. Now at this point.
I'm sorry, Mayor, by a vote of 10-1, you've approved the minutes as submitted.
Okay. Okay, thank you. At this point, we're going to have a presentation on behalf of council, and it's the Hunger Action Month and Hunger Action Day. And Christopher Tan, President and CEO of the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia. Are you present? Hey, come on up. Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Proclamation, whereas hunger and poverty are issues of vital concern in Virginia, where more than 11% of people face hunger, and 1 in every 7 children do not know where their next meal will come from. And whereas everyone needs nutritious foods to thrive, and in every community in America, people are working hard to provide for themselves and their families. Yet in 2022, 44 million people, 1 in 7, including more than 1,300 million children, 1 in 5 face food insecurity in the U.S. That includes 45,250 in the city of Virginia Beach. And whereas the city of Virginia Beach is committed to taking steps to combat hunger in every part of our community and to provide additional resources to those in southeastern Virginia need. And whereas the city of Virginia Beach of Virginia is committed to working with the Food Bank of southeastern Virginia and the Eastern Shore and a member of the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks in educating people about the role and importance of food banks in addressing hunger and raising awareness of the need to devote more resources and attention to hunger issues. Whereas more than 9.9% of individuals in the city of Virginia Beach rely on food provided by members of the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia and the Eastern Shore annually. And whereas the members of the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia and the Eastern Shore distributed more than 20 million meals to the fiscal year 2024 throughout its network and food pantries, soup kitchens, shelters, and other community organizations. And whereas the month of September has been designated Hunger Action Month and September 10th as Hunger Action Day, in order to bring attention to food insecurity in our communities and to enlist the public in the movement to end hunger by taking action, including volunteer shifts, social media shares, and donations to ensure every community and everyone in it has food that they need to thrive. And whereas food banks across the country, including members of the Federation of Virginia Food Banks, Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia and Eastern Shore, Virginia Peninsula Food Bank, Feed More, Fredericksburg Regional Food Bank, Capital Area Food Bank, Blue Ridge Area Food Bank, and Feeding Southwest Virginia will host numerous events throughout the month of September and bring awareness to help the hunger in local communities. Therefore, I, Robert M. Bobby Dyer, on behalf of this council, do hereby proclaim 2024 Hunger Action Month in Virginia Beach, and I call upon all citizens of our beloved city to join me in recognizing the importance to bring attention to the food insecurity in our communities by taking action to end hunger. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over a little bit towards us. He's done this a couple thousand times. All righty. Please say a few words.
Well, thank you very much for this wonderful recognition. We're super proud of what we've done at the Food Bank in the last couple of years in particular, and since the pandemic. I'd like to just, if you hear one thing from me today, it's really gratitude for what the city of Virginia Beach did in stepping up to help us help your citizens. The ARPA dollars that you gave us, the $5 million that you did, helped us tremendously during this time. Last year, I was up before you telling you that we set a record for food distribution at 20 million pounds. This year, I'm saying we broke that record by 3 million more pounds. So we did 24.7 million pounds this year. 7.5 million of those pounds went to the citizens of Virginia Beach when they needed it most. I would love to say that we're done and we've really made a big dent into hunger. The numbers that you saw, 1 in 4 children in our community now are living in a food insecure house. And last year, we saw an 80% increase in the number of visits. So the work is a lot to do. But because of an emotion of gratitude, I do have a few little things for you. One is a challenge coin that we did for breaking the record. It says, connection, which food is the first medicine, and we're hungry for more. I wanted to give each of you this commemorative token as a way of saying thank you for what you did. This city invested the most in the food bank when we needed you the most and allowed us to do that. I also have a little gift for the city manager and for your next work session. These are single origin Redskin peanuts grown on the food bank's farm. They're the only peanuts in the state of Virginia that are grown the old-fashioned way. They are cured outside for 6 weeks and dried. And We get some of the proceeds, but they're actually grown on a farm that the food bank owns in Franklin, so you can enjoy them in your next work session. But thank you again.
Good deal, yeah.
Appreciate it. So, what's that?
And where can we buy them? Yeah. And where can we buy them?
Chris,
Chris,
where can we buy
Chris.
them at?
Where can we?
Oh, yeah. So you can buy them at hubbardspeanuts.com. And they're available for sale. Actually sold out, but they're being reproduced again. And we hope that if you out there are using them for corporate gifts, it's a way to give back. You can buy them from there and then give them to your corporate people. What's it? Oh, and also you can go to foodbankonline.org and get there from there as well.
Thank
All
you.
right, thanks a bunch, and thanks so much for what you all do.
Thank you
God
very
bless
much.
you. Okay, we're going to move on to public hearings, and the first one, management of city property at 2044 Lansdowne Way Sportsplex and Field Hockey Complex.
We have one speaker, Chuck Thornton.
Welcome, Chuck.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Vice Mayor, and all the members of council. I wanted today to, first of all, tell you about how proud my wife, my family, my business partner, Rob Kenny, and my staff are of what we've accomplished at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. I see a lot of faces that weren't around 16 years ago, and we submitted this bid for proposal back in February. And I know a lot of times you get these things and they're put on your desk, and there's a lot of great stories in here. You want to hear stories, you want to hear the process of how that area has grown. Well, this book will do it. You first built that facility as the first soccer-only facility in the country, and you partnered with USA Field Hockey to build a USA Field Hockey facility, and very shortly thereafter, you had no soccer team and you had no field hockey team. My company came in, and that's one of the first things that we did was we vowed to bring professional soccer back to the complex, which we did, which we are part owners of the team to help make that happen. We also partnered with USA Field Hockey and brought USA Field Hockey back with the youth, of which you guys have benefited from the most. Not only did we do that, we brought UFL football, which was professional football. We brought professional lacrosse. We have the only college football that's being held in the city of Virginia Beach, and we'll have our third annual Neptune Bowl this November with two small colleges that play. The apprentice school is playing a school from Miami. We've added and had the biggest 5Ks in this market without shutting down any roads or using any resources. We've hosted 5Ks with over 10,000 people with our good partners over at the amphitheater by utilizing their parking and by utilizing some of your empty space, your Parks and Rec land behind. These are things that you guys that nobody thought of doing before we took over. When we started to manage this facility, the city had less than 50 events on the books. We are going to do over 1,000. We already have 1,000 practices, tournaments, games, events, festivals already contracted for 2025. We saved the taxpayers approximately over $10 million by being in that facility. You guys back in 2008 acknowledged that the facility was losing over $400,000 a year. In today's money, that's easily $800,000-900,000 a year. And you don't have to pay that. You do public partnerships with other people where you pay the management company to manage it. We don't get paid. We invested over $2 million of our own money in 16 years, and this proposal has us investing over $600,000 in things that you guys just aren't equipped or able to add money to. You did a great job with all the money that we saved. All the money that we saved came back to fix the facility, and we're getting brand new turf, and we're trying to.
Chuck, thank you. But let me ask you a question. Isn't part of the rationale of an extended lease that you deal with contracts for people to come in over years in the making, in terms of, long-term commitments?
Correct. So We've established the long-term commitments with the youth football organizations, the field hockey, USA field hockey coming back. I could have had people come and speak about all this, but we just didn't want to overwhelm you with this. I have over 20 letters, hand-picked letters of 100 people, and the executive director of USA Field Hockey is one of those letters of recommendation who talks about what we've done to bring them back to the market. And again, dealing with the UFL, Major League Lacrosse and entities like that. Those are national entities that we went out, we courted. That UFL was looking to go to Norfolk. We brought them to Virginia Beach and had the biggest events in sports that Virginia's ever had for attendance and on TV.
Appreciate that. And as you mentioned, years ago, it was bleeding $400,000 a year. And the thing is, it's active now, and it's definitely one of the jewels of the city and really contributes in a very long way to our sports, marketing.
We have created heads and beds all across the community. When we first came over, we were told the heads and beds couldn't be put in places like Dr. Ross Hammond spots and places like the Founders Inn. Again, we have these letters. These letters are hospitality leaders in this community who are giving us overwhelming support for hotels, for restaurants. We've created over $200 million in economic impact for it's a hard cry to go out and think that just people are going to come out of the woodwork to spend their own money, to create their own events, to do all the things that we've done for the last 16 years. And we're very proud of everything we've accomplished. And we know we have so much that's going to be available for us for the next 20 years. And most of it's already on the books. It's already ready to go. We have, CHKD and these big sponsors that have already got commitments that we've brought to the facility. And they are willing, if we're, obviously as our management, they're willing to back us and support us and be with us for the next 20 years.
Hey, thanks a bunch, Chuck. Appreciate it.
No, thank you very much for your time and have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Just wanted to
wait a minute.
mention
Oh, I'm sorry.
that I was agreeing with you for District 4, how much you've brought in, the heads of beds, and I went out there to watch. And I was amazed and talking with some of the players, how they love coming to Virginia Beach. I still have to watch for lacrosse.
We
I will
do
get out there. Some
do
of you
have
did
your old
not
school
know I
Ithaca
used to
coming
play
back, so
varsity lacrosse many years ago.
absolutely. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And I was on the council when we were losing $460 million a year on the sportsplex. And you took that burden off of us and turned it into a moneymaker. And you also, I believe, work with the schools too.
Oh, yeah. Well, the schools are one of our biggest customers. We have a multi-year contract with them. And again, there's letters of recommendation from several school administrators and heads of athletics.
And you just got a new scoreboard.
I'm sorry?
You just got a new scoreboard.
We got a beautiful new scoreboard, and we want to thank you. And again, the money, that was the deal 16 years ago. We save you guys over $10 million. That gives you the money to invest back in the facility. We handle all the casual maintenance, and we handle the operation. And that's something that's a lot of your public privates, you don't have that deal. You still have to carry that burden as well.
Yeah, you've done a wonderful job, Chuck.
Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, Chuck, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anybody else?
No, sir, that's all for that public
Okay,
hearing.
moving on to our second public hearing, acquisition of agricultural land preservation, ARP, easement installation purchase agreement for 152.96 acres at 1368 Pleasant Ridge Road.
There are no speakers.
Okay, moving on, acquisition by agreement or condemnation, Robinson Road Improvement Project, CIP 100-347.032.
There are no speakers.
Okay, thank you. I will read the speaker's policy ahead of the consent agenda. I want to remind everyone that City Council speaker policy that allows certain representatives of groups to speak for 10 minutes applies only to planning items. All other speakers, whether speaking individually or behalf of a group, will have up to 3 minutes to speak on a single item. Speakers are reminded that comments during the formal session of the meeting must be limited to the subject of the item that is being considered by council at the time you are called. For items placed on the consent agenda, a speaker will have up to 3 minutes to address any single item. If a speaker wishes to address multiple consent agenda items, the speaker will have cumulative total of 6 minutes to address those items. Again, the speaker must limit his or her comments to the subject matter of the items that we have signed up to address. And finally, I call upon all speakers and all persons in the chamber to be civil in their discussion. Whatever views you hold and wish to express, the City Council wants to hear from you and to ensure that all viewpoints and all persons are respected. The best way for us to do this is to strive for civility and respect. Okay, Vice Mayor?
I'm sorry, we have one speaker.
Oh, one speaker?
Yes.
Okay, one speaker.
Donnie Gregory would like to speak on K7, which is the SeaTac Park item.
Okay, welcome. Nice to see you.
I'd like to say good evening to everybody, and thank you for having me. My name is Donnie Gregory, and I've been newly elected to the SeaTac Civic League president since April the 9th, my swearing in. And I want to say it's been a great experience. I just wish that I had paid more attention in my political science class because it is a challenge, but I love it. I want to thank you so much for all your hard work and getting this project passed that we've been asking for in SeaTac, the upgrade. You allowed me to come into one of your formal or informal sessions, or however you call it, and I listened at all of the consensus from all of the constituents. You know, I was hearing words like long overdue. We got to get this done. Let's make this happen for that community. And to be standing here today after so many before me have come and asked for this, and now it's happening, is certainly gratifying. You're making a lot of people's hearts happy in SeaTac. I go to the churches, and you have been here too. My representative, Mr. Remick, Mr. Taylor has been, Mrs. Wooten has been to our churches, and the people are excited. You're making a lot of people happy for what you are doing for us in our community. The new bathrooms, the upgrade of the parking lot, 50 spaces, and just you putting this kind of money into our community, it's going to do wonders for the spirit of SeaTac. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for what you are doing. And another thing, I found out that when you're doing this kind of business, the media is right at your front door. As soon as I got out of that last meeting that was here with you, they called my house the next day and said, can we come to your house in 30 minutes? I said, well, let me put my suit on. And I put my suit on, and they came to my house, and they asked me, how do you feel about them getting ready to pass a $3 million for SeaTac? Oh, I was hollering. I was so thankful. And I called everybody's name. I told them just what I told you. I said, Mr. Taylor was for it. Mr. Remick was for it. The mayor was for it. Sabrina was for it. The city manager. I said, it was a great consensus in that room. And that's the kind of report that I want to have with my city council. I'm not out in the street bad-mouthing you, talking, running you down, and you not doing this and that. I appreciate you. And SeaTac need you. We are not enemies, and we want to partner and get this thing hopping and popping in SeaTac.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Gregory.
so much. God bless all of y'all.
Thank you. And before we get to... Okay. Hey, thank you, Tammy. Good to see you. Welcome. Okay, Mr. Schulman, you have, before we get going, we introduce some guests.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And just as a point of personal privilege, I appreciate you allowing me to take a few moments to introduce or embarrass, I guess, maybe a group of Virginia Wesleyan University students who are here from their political science class, along with their professor, Moskowitz. And if you'd like to stand and just let everybody know who you are.
Come on, stand up. There you go.
Thank you all very much for coming.
I
and
appreciate you coming.
Hope you learned
Appreciate you,
something.
Karen. Okay, consent agenda time.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Under ordinances and resolutions, number 1 is a resolution to designate October 9th, 2024 as Pandas and Pans Awareness Day and to direct the city manager to eliminate Building 30 and the Virginia Beach Convention Center with green lighting, requested by Mayor Dyer. Number 2 is the ordinance to add City Code Section 21-307, authorize enforcement of parking regulation of facilities owned by the City of Virginia Beach Development Authority and set a fee for removal of a vehicle immobilization device. Number 3 is ordinance to repeal Chapter 30, Article 3, Erosion and Sediment Control and Tree Protection, and Appendix D, Stormwater Management, and adopt and reordain Appendix D, Erosion and Stormwater Management. Number 4 is an ordinance to amend the Economic Development Investment Program, EDIP policy and procedure. Number 5 is the ordinance to authorize the city manager to execute a lease for up to 5 years with the United States Coast Guard for a 36 plus or minus square feet portion of city property located at the jetty on the north side of Rudy Inlet. Number 6 is the ordinance to extend the date for satisfying the condition closing a 750 square foot portion of an unimproved lane adjacent to the rear of 276th Street. Number 7 is the ordinance to establish capital project number 10684, CTAC PAR improvements, and to appropriate $3 million in public facility revenue bonds. Number 8 is the ordinance to accept and appropriate $719,970 from the Federal Emergency Management Agency to the FY 2024-25 Fire Department operating budget rate, continued operation of the Virginia Task Force 2 Urban Search and Rescue Team. Number 9 is ordinance to accept and appropriate $467,000 from the Police, Federal and State Seized Asset Special Revenue Fund to the FY 2024-25 Police Department operating budget rate, police equipment and training. Number 10 is the ordinance to accept and appropriate $122,600 from the Virginia Department of Motor Vehicle, DMV, to the FY 2024-25 Police Department operating budget rate, overtime and equipment expenses related to the seatbelt and speed enforcement, and authorize a 50% in-kind grant match. Number 11 is the ordinance to accept and appropriate $55,450 from the Virginia Department of Motor Vehicles to the FY 2024-25 Police Department operating budget rate, overtime, training, and equipment expenses related to the DUI enforcement, and authorize a 50% in-kind grant match. Number 12 is the ordinance to accept and appropriate $81,861.55 and an additional $2,455.85 from the Federal Emergency Management Agency to the FY 24-25 Fire Department operating budget rate, mobilization of Virginia Task Force 2 for wildfires in New Mexico. Number 13 is the ordinance to accept and appropriate $19,538.76 and an additional $586.16 from the Federal Emergency Management Agency to the FY 2024-25 Fire Department operating budget rate, and mobilization of Virginia Task Force 2 for a tropical disturbance in Puerto Rico, and reimburse $2,000 to the Federal Emergency Management Agency for the overpayment rate of 2020 Puerto Rico earthquake deployment. Number 14 is the ordinance to accept and appropriate $66,112.23 and an additional $1,983.37 from the Federal Emergency Management Agency for the FY 2024-25 Fire Department operating budget rate, mobilization of Virginia Task Force 2 for Tropical Cyclone Beryl in Texas. Number 15 is ordinance to accept and appropriate $12,320 and an additional $369.60 from the Federal Emergency Management Agency to the FY 24-25 Fire Department operating budget rate, mobilization of Virginia Task Force 2 for Tropical Cyclone Beryl in Puerto Rico. Number 16 is the ordinance to accept and appropriate $1,000 from the Virginia Department of Emergency Management to the FY 24-25 Emergency Communications and Citizens Services Operating Budget Rate, Public Safety Answering Points, PSAP, Educational Program. Number 17 is the ordinance to accept and appropriate $250 from the Virginia Alcohol Beverage Control Authorities and Youth Alcohol and Drug Abuse Prevention Project to the FY 2024-25 Parks and Recreation Operating Budget Rate, Youth Alcohol and Drug Abuse Prevention Project.
Open a public hearing on planning.
Number 2 is the Timothy Posh Ocean Rescue Service, Inc., in District 6. Number 3 is the Gordon R. Crenshaw and Hannah L. Crenshaw for a street closure, reapproximation of 6,327 square feet of an unimproved portion of Windsor Road adjacent to 1217 North Bay Shore, and that's in District 6. Number 4 is Our Lady of Perpetual Help Center for a modification conditional to a conditional use permit, increase the number of units from 120 to 124 and to expand the building by 16,850 square feet at 4560 Princess Anne Road, that's in District 1. And number 5, Ms. Henley will be abstaining. Dogs Real Estate LLC for a conditional use permit, a residential kennel at 3449 Robinson Road, that's in District 2. Number 6 is Robert Jessup and Robert and Jennifer A. Jessup for a conditional use permit, home occupation at 2940 Dante Place, and that is in District 1. Number 7 is Danielle Good as Star Real Estate LLC for a conditional use permit, tattoo parlor at 397 Little Neck Road, that is in District 8. And number 8 is to ordinance to adopt a new official zoning map which shall replace the existing official zoning map due to change in the computer mapping format used to store the map data and develop the printed copies. There are no changes to the zoning district or their existing locations between the current and proposed maps. Move for approval.
Got a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Let's open the vote.
The vote is open. By a vote of 11 to 0, you've approved the consent agenda as read by Vice Mayor Wilson, noting Councilmember Henley's abstention.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go back to planning item 1. Mary Lively for a variance, section 4.4B of the subdivision regulations to construct a single-family dwelling on a parcel directly east of 1140 Rolling Wood Arch and north of 989 Autumn Harvest Drive, District 1. Welcome.
Mr. Inman is the applicant's attorney.
Good evening, Mayor Dyer, members of council. I'm Mike Inman. I'm an attorney representing the applicant, Mary Lively, along with my partner, law partner, Jeannie Lauer, both of whom are seated over here to my left. We'll present to you the reasons that you should grant this variance to allow residents on this 25,000 square foot R10 lot in one of the great older neighborhoods in the city. This application is the culmination of the applicant's efforts, including a successful circuit court case, to get the approvals needed to allow construction of a house that has been proffered, and you can see on the screen at some point. The circuit court order designated specific location for access for vehicles and utilities, utilizing the easement to Autumn Harvest Drive, which was created in 1979 when a 6-lot subdivision was created with no other street access besides the easement. The extension of Autumn Harvest Drive occurred in the 80s and provided street frontage for what was Lot 16A in this 6-lot subdivision, and subsequently construction of a house occurred, and it left Lot 15A 10 feet short of having street frontage for a portion of the lot. This again can be seen on the site plan, which has been provided to you and can be put up on the screen. The proposed design and location of the residence on the lot poses no inconvenience or negative impact on the neighboring properties or the neighborhood at large. Nevertheless, when we experienced at the Planning Commission that there have been folks that are opposed to it, frankly, don't understand how this attractive home will not be compatible with the neighborhood on a 25,000 square foot lot. At this time, I want to ask you to bear in mind a Supreme Court decision that is actually a Virginia Beach case for Spence versus the Board of Zoning Appeals, which is about a disputed variance. And the court said, the very purpose of the statute is to afford any property owner an opportunity to seek a variance when a strict application of the ordinance would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the owner's use of the property, or would cause a demonstrable hardship approaching confiscation of the property. At this time, I'd like to ask Jeannie Lauer to come up and finish this presentation in our limited time that we have.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Mary Lively has been trying to do something with her property for years. And during that period of time, since 2001, she's paid taxes on it every year, hasn't been late, has been a good neighbor. She lived in the community from 2001 to 2009. She lived on the front lot, which was 15R. 15A had always been a vacant lot, just like all of the lots that were next to it. So she had familiarity with the neighborhood. When she had to move in 2009 or sell the house that she lived in, because unfortunately her economic circumstances didn't allow her to reside there any longer, she kept that back vacant lot because she knew from her neighbor being allowed to do it, which was approved by the city of Virginia Beach, the zoning administrator. That was the Convoy Hawkins property. That's 16 when you look up at the plat map, 16A. She knew that that was an okay thing to do. And her goal at that point in time was to be able to get back into the neighborhood. And she had her lot and she was going to build a house on it. And that's where she was going to live because that was the place that she loved. Things don't always work out the way that you want them to. And her circumstances don't allow her to personally construct a house on that lot. She's got to sell it. She's 76 years old. She doesn't have any other assets. And so she's found someone who will build this lovely house that we're all looking at. She's had to work since 2019 to get the court to tell her neighbor that she had a right to build a driveway. And Judge Mahan said, yes, absolutely. Couldn't be any clearer. She should have been able to put a driveway in, and she is legally allowed to put a driveway in across a very small section to get to Autumn Harvest Drive. The city of Virginia Beach gave her an address, 987 Autumn Harvest Drive in 2021, because they looked at where the driveway was going to be incident to where a house was going to be, and they said, that's absolutely fine. Where it falls on the curvature doesn't create a traffic problem. We have restrictions about all of this, and it specifically fits in that area. It's okay to do that. After that, the engineering department in the city of Virginia Beach looked at it. We needed to find out if what the judge had ordered in terms of the driveway easement was going to allow her to put utilities in that driveway easement. And in 2023, Mr. Lynn, with Public Utilities and Engineering, said, absolutely. Although for some reason, the staff report reflects that we have to go back and get some personal easement when the city of Virginia Beach has already said, no, just put the utility easement in the driveway. We checked that in advance. And Judge Mahan made a point of ordering in his order, hey, they can place utilities in the driveway easement, just so that it would be clear that we were okay to build there. But there doesn't seem to be anyone that wants to take notice of the fact that this woman has legal rights. She can't build a house by right. In other words, she doesn't meet the variance. And whoever has reviewed the plans for the construction of this house was first swayed by the idea that on an old plat it said not a buildable lot. When we pointed out to the city, hey, I know it says not a buildable lot on that, but Kevin Kemp testified at trial that that wasn't a prohibition that couldn't be lifted. And more importantly, back in 1986, the city of Virginia Beach approved Ms. Hawkins building a house on a subdivision lot that said not a buildable lot. It was the same thing that Mary had. So then the city backtracked and said, no, it's self-inflicted hardship. How is that self-inflicted? Well, because she sold 15R, but she kept 15A. She should have kept both of them. The question was, how is that self-inflicted? Because 15A legally, even when a co-owner had it, didn't have any more frontage than it does now. It can't be self-inflicted. What they were really trying to tell us is, we don't want you to build anything there, and you should have just joined the two lots together and lived with it and sold them as one. But that's not what the Supreme Court of Virginia says. So we went back to the city again and said, what is it that you need from us? Well, then there was a suggestion that maybe we should give some land to lot 15R owned by Mr. Wessler. That fell by the wayside when we finally got a hold of the city attorney, and they said, oh no, we can't really make you do that. Nor was it appropriate. So last is this self-inflicted hardship. And we've asked, show us where that exists. That's a legal principle. That shouldn't be, I don't feel like I want to side with this side or the other. This is just case law. And the case law that is predominant is one that came out of the city of Virginia Beach. And it said that the mere fact that you own property that you want to build on, that is zoned for something that you want to build on, doesn't constitute a self-inflicted hardship. That's why you created a variance in the first place. So that when things happened, like she's got, instead of frontage, she's got a driveway access, that people can use their property. Because if you don't allow her to build this house, you will have confiscated her property. She has nothing else to do with it. And every single case that talks about these issues and self-inflicted hardship is not the Mary Lively case. In those cases, people just built whatever they wanted to and then asked for forgiveness afterwards. That's not what Mary did. Mary went through 5 years of litigation to establish her rights, and then she came to the Planning Commission and asked you to consider her application. And no one will give her a reason why. They just keep adding more and pushing us back, telling us maybe we should just take a deferral. Maybe we should just wait until things are quieter. She's 74 years old. You have a legal obligation. She has a legal right as an individual who owns property in the city of Virginia Beach. It's zoned appropriately. It's been ordered by the court. And it is incumbent upon you to stand up and do the right legal thing.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Brad Wessler. And then the next speaker will be Mark, sorry, I'm going to mess this up.
Good evening.
Dari.
Good evening, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Council. I'm respectfully asking the members of City Council to deny the applicant's request being presented to you this evening. The arguments you just heard have all been presented before. They were presented to city staff and the Planning Commission, and both times they were voted to deny Ms. Lively's request. Ms. Lively made the decision to divide parcel 15A and 15R in 2007. She then sold 15R to my wife and I in 2009. At the time, we purchased the residence with the knowledge that lot 15A was considered an unbuildable lot according to the 1979 plot, which has been in effect at that time for 30 years. It's still zoned today as a not buildable lot. In the fall of 2009, just months after purchasing lot 15R, Ms. Lively proposed to my wife and I to make a lot on offer 15A. While we entered into negotiations, we could not agree upon a selling price. At the time, the assessed value of the lot was $30,000. But Ms. Lively indicated to my wife and I that she would not accept anything less than $120,000. We could not identify a lender willing to approve funding so significantly above the appraised value, and the negotiations unfortunately stalled till today. A comparison has also been made that an adjacent lot, formerly known as 16A, was modified so that a residence could be built upon it. However, it is necessary to view this transaction more deeply to see that it is not an apple-to-apple comparison. Lot 16A was replotted with a Stratford Green subdivision, which made the note from the 1979 plot that Lot 16A was not a residential building, null and void. Therefore, a subdivision variance was not required. This was due to the change in alignment of Autumn Harvest Drive, a change that did not modify or affect the restrictions set forth on Lot 15A or the 4 lots north of it. A great deal has also been said about the circuit court order. However, it also is incumbent to view this order for what it truly says. The order specifically grants Lot 15A a 10-foot wide easement through the former lot of 16A for construction of a 10-foot wide driveway, not the necessary requirements for a street frontage for a residential dwelling. This quarter is explicitly for access to Lot 15A, something that had not been formally been completed in the past. The order does not grant the applicant the right to build a residential dwelling. This fact has been supported by city staff in the recommendation. Finally, this application is not supported by those who currently reside in the affected community. Before you should be 6 letters of opposition and 40 signatures on 2 petitions from residents and who live in the neighborhood today who are opposed to this request. Each of these letters has been provided to the city clerk as well. This represents 100% of the occupied homes on the street that I live on and approximately 80% of the entire neighborhood. I respectfully ask you today to deny this request the City Planning Commission and City Council has done before you. She made the decision in 2007 to divide the lots, knowing full well that the lot was unbuildable at the time and remains so today.
Thank you.
for your time.
Appreciate your comment.
The next speaker is Mark Diodria.
I have nothing to offer about that.
Okay. Mr. Emmon, Ms. Lauer, would you like to come up for rebuttal?
By way of clarification, Mr. Wessler bought in 2009 from Ms. Lively, but Ms. Lively purchased with her ex-husband in 2001. She left an abusive marriage. Friends purchased the property under their name so that she could obtain it back. She did. She lived from 2001 to 2009 consecutively in that home. That's what the records reflect. As far as it's not apples to apples, it very much is. There were 6 lots, 16, 15, 14, 13, and down. They all said the same thing, not a building lot. And I can tell you why, because I spoke to the individuals who actually owned it. The reason that they purchased that property was because people were coming in from Autumn Harvest Drive, the old version of it. It deaded and ended into there, and people were walking across. All of the owners got together, bought it, had them platted, but they never joined the front and the back lots. And that's where Mr. Wessler is wrong. He said she created the problem because she divided 15A and 15R. No, she didn't. They never belonged together. They never coexisted. She didn't subdivide anything. She had 2 lots. She sold 1 lot. She retained the other that she wants to build the house on. So she didn't create the circumstances. Judge Mahan asked your zoning administrator in court, and you have it because you have the deposition or you have the trial testimony in that case, whether that not a buildable lot is a binding designation. And what Mr. Kemp said was, no, it's not a binding designation. Whatever you put on at one point in time doesn't enjoin all development going forward. Every time you look at the circumstances that exist at the time you're seeking to change whatever it is that you're doing with property. I appreciate that people never want anything built near them, that they all want this to remain what's basically a free parking or a free open area at the expense of Ms. Lively. But bear in mind that they don't have any vested legal rights in that property. They don't have any vested legal right that says they get to object. I mean, sure, they can say they object, but what's the problem? The answer is we just don't want it to happen. And that's not good enough when you're denying someone the fruitful use of their land. That's something we have respect for in this country. And the failure to approve a home to be built on that lot is nothing less than a deprivation of all of her property rights. Not something that we should be tolerating at all. Finally, I can't say enough that you should reward those people who follow the law and do the right thing. And that's something that Mary has done throughout. She's lived with the payments she has to make. She's done what she needs to do. And now she asks you to
Thank you very
acknowledge
much. Appreciate it.
her efforts.
Thank you. You know, Ms. Warren, if I can, no, thank you. Ms. Warren, could I ask you the crux of the reasons for staff and, of a planning commission denial?
Yes, sir. So I'm going to ask our deputy director to respond to that since she's been working the details of this case.
Okay.
Sure. Our subdivision variance outlines the necessary requirements in order for staff to support a variance, and one of them is the hardship case. And staff believes that in this case, because the lots were owned under common ownership at one time and they were sold separately, that the hardship is a result of selling the property. She could have combined the lots at one time since they were under common ownership, but they were not. So we believe that the applicant's actions resulted in the hardship since the lots were sold separately.
Okay, thank you. Hutch?
Thank you. So for me, I want to say a couple different things here. One of them is I certainly feel for Ms. Lively, I understand what you're saying. Or we did try to have some negotiation that fell apart for whatever reason. But that is on both parties in my mind. But then the second part that hasn't been spoken about here, and I'm not going to try to butcher your name right now, but the new owner, but the old owner at the where the driveway is going through, because right now you have 0 feet of frontage, and that's a big deal according to our planning. And I would agree with that. I've said it all along. There was no opportunity or nothing to purchase that part of the land from the person to gain the access to the street frontage. There was an opportunity there in my mind. So that was one of the things that weighed in for me, but 0 frontage. And then obviously the opposition and then the planning commission as well. Now, when I spoke to Mr. Inman, we had a great conversation about all this. And when I spoke to Mr. Wessler and the group, one of the things that I suggested was, and I didn't say anything about money, but is that the two groups get together and see if they can't work out something at this point to compensate Ms. Lively for her property, and then put it into a trust or something like that, to work outside the box to come up with something. Mr. Inman at the time intimated to me that was a great idea. Mr. Wessler and the group sitting here thought that was a fantastic idea. So that's where I would say this needs to move forward so that we can have something happen for her. And that's why I'm supporting the Planning Commission and the Planning Department and denying.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? Barbara?
We don't have anything in our agenda about the court findings. I think it was suggested that we probably had a copy of the court report, but we don't have that. I'm unclear as to just what the court ruled and what the question before the court was.
You're going to have to come up, please. We need you at the microphone.
No one's ever complained that I don't speak loudly enough. The court order was submitted along with a list of exhibits 1 through 19.
When was this submitted?
It was submitted to the Planning Commission. It should have come up with the packet from the Planning Commission to you. It included all of the deeds. It included the plats. It included the testimony. It included the issuance of a driveway or of an address. It included the specifics from Judge Mahan and his order.
Pardon, who was the judge?
Judge Mahan, Stephen Mahan.
Okay. And when was this ruling?
This was May 9th, 2023.
2023.
Yes, and all of the owners that have purchased, including the gentleman that's here today, purchased with that order being recorded in the land records. It would not have been possible for them to purchase the property without a knowledge of the exact contents of this order. We checked, and Judge Mahan even ordered that it be registered with land records so that there could be no doubt at all that anyone purchasing 16 would know that Mary Lively had a right to put a driveway across that area. It just, as I said, it was all part of the packet that was tendered previously. It does say that she has the right to have drain lines, utilities, and that she'll have access on a daily basis for the purposes of construction of an approved driveway and residential structure, and thereafter on a daily basis as is customarily employed by the owners and occupants of residential real property. That's paragraph 5 of Judge Mahan's order, saying she has a right to do these things.
Okay, thank you.
I would suggest that it should have been in the report that was done for you all. Did anyone else have questions?
Okay, Josh.
Thank you, Ms. Lauer. My questions are for our planning director, our planning staff. Thank you very much. So just so I understand correctly, the issue here is that there's no frontage on a public street, period, right? And an easement is not a public street for purposes of satisfying that requirement. And despite the fact that they have an easement, it is more narrow than what we would ordinarily allow. Is that correct or safe to say?
It is narrower than a traditional driveway, but it would serve for adequate access for a driveway, a one-lane driveway.
Okay, and then I'm just, again, trying to, because I did read the court decision, the court didn't necessarily have the power to, I guess, order that a variance be granted because, the city wasn't a party to the suit, would be my guess?
That's correct. The city was not party to the suit.
Okay. And, I've read about the plat notes and how they're, this non-buildable designation. When the plat notes were deleted from the adjacent properties, and those properties were allowed to build residential structures on them, did those properties at that time have frontage on a public street?
There's only one property that's been replatted that has a single-family home on it, and that's Lot 16A, the one that has the 10-foot easement to this property. And yes, it's because it had frontage along Autumn Harvest Drive. It was replatted with Stratford Green.
Okay. I think that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone else? Barbara?
I'm just confused as to why the city would have allowed an unbuildable lot to have been created in the first place, because we don't do that. And if that was 2000, I'm sorry, when, it would seem that somebody changed a policy somewhere along the line, because we don't create non-buildable lots and allow them to be subdivided, do we?
This property was created in 1979, so I can't speak to the mentality of 1979. There are cases where we plat non-buildable lots specific to maybe a stormwater management pond on a lot that was non-buildable, or in the agricultural district, if it meets the minimum dimensional standards for the district, but there's no density on the property, then sometimes there's a plat note put on that it's not a buildable lot.
But I guess I was using the wrong terminology when I said not a buildable lot. I mean a lot without public access. I mean, that would be highly unusual at any point that there would have been a lot created that didn't have access to a public street. I thought everybody had the right to have access.
Right, yes. And again, this was platted in 1979.
Okay. Hutch?
So, Madam Clerk, if I could ask you a question. The gentleman that passed to speak, am I allowed to ask him a question, or City Attorney? I'm not sure who I'm supposed to ask.
It's not a question for me, sir. It's a question to the mayor.
Oh, Mayor, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
He just bought the property adjacent is what I was going to say.
I think in the interest of fairness, we'll allow it.
Okay. Would you step forward? I can ask the question while you're coming up. You just recently purchased the property, and were you made aware of any time that this was going on? As was suggested by the attorney.
Yes, thank you for letting me speak. I apologize for my attire. I had no idea this was going to be an open session tonight. I just came from my daughter's volleyball game. No, I did not know. And to the lawyer's statement, she said the same thing at the Planning Review Board as well, that I should have looked harder to find these records. Well, I did hire a law firm, a real estate law firm. There were surveys done, and the city records were investigated to find that by a professional mortgage company and the Veterans Administration. So nothing was found on this, and the site plan that was shown to me and I signed in my closing documents showed no easement whatsoever. It was just the actual site plan that included all that property, 416A, which is 989 Autumn Harvest Drive, as no easement present. Additionally, it did show that the lot is zoned, as been said so many times, not buildable, which was an attractive part of the offer as well to purchase that house in the first place.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, anybody else?
Mayor Dyer, is this a private drive or a public drive, the back piece to where they're trying to access? I guess I see Cotswold, Autumn, Harvest Drive. Is that cul-de-sac private or public?
Autumn Harvest Drive is a public street. The driveway that would come off of Autumn Harvest Drive would be a private driveway.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, let's go ahead and open the vote. And the vote is to deny.
The vote is open. Go ahead and close it. By a vote of 9-2, this application has been denied.
Okay, and I think that concludes. I think we're ready for appointments.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. For the Agriculture Advisory Commission, to appoint Ryan Dudley. The Bayfront Advisory Commission, to appoint William Cole Trower and Wendy Crutchfield. The Green Ribbon Committee, to reappoint William Almond, Jason Barney, Robert Burdon, Karen Forget, and Emily Steinhelber. The Parks and Recreation Commission, to appoint Larry Tommy Altman, and that represents District 2. The TAITA-CAC, to appoint Layla Kukari, representing the high school student, and William Brumke from the Development Authority. And then the Virginia Beach CDC is to appoint Matthew Hamaker, and the Wetlands Board to reappoint Dr. Paul Hawley, representing an alternate member. Move for approval.
Okay.
The vote is open.
Okay, let's open the vote.
The vote is open. Councilmember Henley, thank you. By a vote of 11-0, you have appointed those as read by Vice Mayor Wilson.
Okay, is there any new business? Any old business? Thank you all. We are adjourned.